And we are back to Chamonix for a whole week of ultra trail running. All participants take a moment to thank and recognize the organization, the volunteers, and partners that together made this trail running event possible. Amongst the participants, the Swiss adventurer Mike Horn will take part in the MCC alongside his two daughters, Annika and Jessica.
C'était une aventure incroyable.
Partage pas seulement un super paysage, mais des évolutions extraordinaires.
The UTMB events are back in full motion after a year off due to the global pandemic. We're kicking off the week in Courmayeur, Italy for the TDS. The start took place in 5 different waves to follow national restrictions due to the COVID situation. With 145 kilometers and 9,100 meters of elevation gain, this race is known to be the most technical race of the week. After running through the narrow paved streets of Courmayeur, the participants finally head out into the immensity of the surrounding mountains.
Oh my God! Wow!
Salvador Olivas Aguilera takes the lead in the first climb up to the Arête du Montfavre, but the road is still long. He is followed by another Spanish runner, Borja Fernandez, while the rest of the field makes their way down to the Lac Comban. At this point, Marcos Ramons Gonzalez is leading the front pack. In the women's field, a familiar face is in the lead. From Russia, Ekaterina Mitayeva was in 4th place at the 2019 UTMB, a much less known name on the international scene. Yet surely famous amongst locals, Manon Board is chasing and looking strong.
Allez.
Bravo, bravo. Allez, bravo Nicolas. Merci.
As the front runners keep taking turns in the men's field, positions remain the same for the women on the way up to Col de Chavannes.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. C'est moi, allez, vas-y. Allez, bravo.
After running another 30 kilometers past remote mountain lakes, runners finally arrive down to the city of Bourg-Saint-Maurice. In the midst of the night, new runners will make a move, search out Frenchman Benoît Girondel at Cormet de Roseland. Daniel Young and Erik Sebastian Krokvik from Norway are first and second respectively. By the aid station of Haute-Luce, Eric Sébastien has not only taken the lead, but also opened a gap on his competition. With the first morning lights, the Norwegian runner shows remarkable grit and control to keep the lead on Benoît Girondel, still holding on for second place. Behind another French competitor, Arthur Joyeux-Bouillon, who took a very conservative start, is now making his move onto the provisional podium. Ekaterina Mitayeva is still leading the women's race, but things are about to change. And finally, Eric Sebastian Krokvik is celebrated the TDS 2021 champion by large cheering crowds gathered at the heart of Chamonix.
I guess it's the Tour de France of trail running. It's unbelievable. It's so cool, and the weather got pretty good as well. So yeah, super happy.
Benoît Girondel and Arthur Joyeux-Bouillon will complete the men's podium. Meanwhile, Manon Poar takes a very strong win for her first attempt at this distance. She is followed by Giuditta Turini and Ildiko Vermecher.
Cette nuit, à minuit 25, le comité de course de l'UTMB Mont-Blanc a été informé qu'un coureur de la TDS a été victime d'un accident dans la descente du passeur de Pralognan. Malgré tous les soins qui lui ont été apportés, le coureur a succombé à la suite de ses blessures. La course a dû être neutralisée au passeur de Pralognan. La direction de course a décidé de donner l'instruction aux 1200 coureurs de faire demi-tour et de redescendre vers Bourg-Saint-Maurice où un accueil et des transports ont été organisés. 293 coureurs avaient passé le passeur de Pralognan et n'ont pas été arrêtés.
After a year without racing, the small town of Orsières, Switzerland, once again comes together to host the start of the OCC. This 56-kilometer race will go through Champellac before heading into Vallorcine in France and finishing in Chamonix. School is off on that day for children to experience firsthand the magic of this race. In Champellac, the 2019 Trail World Champion Blandine Lirondelle from France is taking the lead in the women's field. She is followed by another French athlete, Mathilde Sagne, who's standing in second place only a few minutes back. The 1,200 runners will have to climb a total of 3,500 meters over 3 main climbs. In the men's field, the mountain running specialist Robbie Simpson from Scotland has taken an aggressive start and opened the gap on second place runner Peter Engdahl from Sweden. After a more conservative start, John Albon is now starting to make his move. Using his fantastic downhill skills, the 2019 Trail World Champion and multiple OCR World Champion from Great Britain passed Peter Engdahl. In an ultimate move towards the climb up to La Flégère, Albon passes Simpson to take the lead one more time. With a 7-kilometer long descent into Chamonix, he secures the win in 5 hours, 2 minutes and 57 seconds. Robbie Simpson secures his second place in a time of 5 hours, 5 minutes and 35 seconds. And from Sweden, Peter Engdahl completes the podium in 5 hours, 8 minutes and 31 seconds.
It was intense. It might not look like it, but the crowd helped me along in that last kilometre because it was rough.
In the women's field, Blandine Girondin led from end to end to win in 5 hours, 45 minutes and 8 seconds. Mathilde Sainz from France took second place just ahead of Caitlin Fielder from New Zealand, who ran an incredible finish and make it onto the podium. And we're back in Courmayeur for the start of the CCC, linking Courmayeur, Champais and Chamonix over a grueling 101-kilometer course and featuring 6,100 meters of elevation gain. Early on, Stian Angermund uses his uphill running skill to break away from the pack with several minute lead at Berton. He's followed by 3 times trail world champion Luis Alberto Hernando and 2019 CCC second place finisher Thibaut Garivier. In the women's field, an outsider from Czech Republic, Petra Ševčíková, also opened a significant gap. She is followed by Amanda Basham from America and Marta Molist-Codina from Spain. After an impressive run up to the Grand Col Ferret, Stian is increasing his lead on Thibaut Garivier, making the best out of his poles to save energy in his legs. Luis Alberto Hernando is the third runner going over the col, followed by Thibaut Barognan and Christian Marianne Mossiou. Weather conditions couldn't have been better to highlight the beauty of the surrounding landscapes. Petra Ševčíková is still in third, but Marta Molist-Codina moved up to second place, and another American athlete, Abby Hall, is now in third place. After a fierce battle that lasted all day, French athlete Thibaut Garivier bettered his 2019 second place to take a well-deserved win.
Je voulais courir à peu près dans les mêmes temps, je pensais pas faire mieux. Je pense que là ça doit quand même pas être loin d'être le record de la course. Ouais. Donc c'est très satisfaisant. Et puis voilà.
Scott Hawker from New Zealand and Thibaut Barognan from France complete this podium. Marta Molist-Codina also took a hard-fought win ahead of Abby Hall and Petra Ševčíková. UTMB, 4 letters that mean the adventure of a lifetime. 2 years since we last had the chance to stand below this legendary starting line, and the moment has finally come to reconnect with performance, accomplishment, and camaraderie that ultra running has to offer. And they are off with one single goal in mind. Try to achieve this daunting feat of closing this 170-kilometer loop across 3 countries, France, Italy, and Switzerland, and finally come back to the center of Chamonix. Elite athletes will try to set new records while the back of the pack will have up to 36 hours to cross the finish line. Under the Mont Blanc watch, the front runners are running together, while American athlete Courtney Dauwalter already took the lead in the women's field. She is followed by French athlete Camille Brias, who is attempting for the first time to run the 100-mile distance. Jim Walmsley is answering the cheering crowds as he comes into Les Contamines. This is the last aid station where the runners can meet their crew before heading into the high mountains and into the night. Jim joins the lead group of men made of François Den, Pablo Villa and Aurélien Dunant-Palaz, while Courtney Dauwalter is followed by Mimi Kotka and Camille Bruyas in the women's field. The magic of UTMB also springs from all the spectators cheering at all times of the day and the night. 60 kilometers into the race, temperatures drops as François and Jim cross the Col de la Seigne, followed by more French athletes, Germain Grangier and Aurélien Dunant-Palaz, and the Russian runner Dmitry Mitayev. It is still early in the race, and failing to be in top shape before the halfway point in Courmayeur could be fatal. The body of Dmitry Mitayev is not responding the way he was hoping, and he is forced to withdraw from the race. He is immediately offered medical assistance at this life base. Halfway down the long descent from Grand Col Ferret, François Den is now running alone. Aurélien Dunant-Palaz and Germain Grangier complete a temporary podium, 100% French. Meanwhile, Courtney Dauwalter has increased her lead on the women's field. Mimi Kotka had held on to second place, but a strong Camille Bruyas overtakes her at Col des Montagnes. He came out on top of a duel with Kilian Jornet in 2017. He won and broke the hard race course record earlier this summer, and now he's making history by being the only runner winning UTMB 4 times. François Den is welcomed in Chamonix as the undisputed best ultra runner in the world.
Ouais, celle-là, je l'ai vraiment savourée parce qu'elle était vraiment très très dure à aller chercher. C'est pas terrible de dire que j'avais des jambes dures assez vite, puisque je gagne la course, mais ça a été vraiment, j'ai vraiment dû m'adapter physiquement, quoi. Ça a vraiment été très très dur. Puis je sais pas si j'ai déjà eu une aussi belle météo sur le Tour du Mont Blanc, donc j'avoue que là, l'arrivée comme ça sous le soleil avec autant de monde, j'avais jamais fait. Donc merci en tout cas à tous pour votre accueil.
12 minutes later, Aurélien Dunant-Palaz has held on to second place, while Mathieu Blanchard made a very strong comeback to land on the third place of the podium, 100% French. She had already won in 2019 here in Chamonix, and she's about to break her own course record by over 2 hours. Courtney Dauwalter!
Amazing. I'm so happy that we could have the race this year, and to see all of you guys in town. Thank you for being out. I love this community, so anytime I can be here for the race, I want to be here.
For her first attempt at running 100 miles, Camille Bruyas takes second place in a very emotional finish. After showing incredible grit in the final stage of the race, Mimi Kotka from Sweden rounds up the female podium of this 2021 edition of UTMB. Long after all elite athletes have crossed the line, many participants are still out on the trails chasing their dream to close the loop around this legendary mountain.